now we get on to the next session. I think we're getting a little late, but to the main part of our talk today, it's on Kaizen. I don't know too much about Kaizen, but I know it's something about change, continuous improvement. It's what's made companies like Toyota in Japan world leaders from nothing to something, another success story behind Kaizen. And when I spoke to Pranav, Mr. Pranav Parekh, about having a Print Summit, and when I talked to him about how he had implemented Kaizen in his workplace, he said, I think Kaizen is a way of life. Didn't understand what he was saying. He said it's a way of doing things better, changing things, and he said he has implemented it at his place. And when I asked him, can you do it for the printing industry? He said, of course, you can do it at home, you can do it with your family, you can so it can be used everywhere. And that's when Pranav said that to me that he wanted it to be used for the printing industry. He thinks there's great potential for Kaizen to improve the workplace in printing. And that's when we said we'd love to have something like this. And Pranav's vision was that he would like the benefit of Kaizen to go to every printer in Bombay or in India, because he saw the potential, he saw the need to have it, and I'm sure if everybody knows Pranav Parekh, I don't need to introduce him to you. If he says something, he definitely knows what he's saying. So we have Mr. Pranav Parekh talking to us, and Dr. Gondhalekar from the Kaizen Institute. You can call him Dr. G. And Dr. G, thank you very much for accepting this invitation, and thank you very much for spending so much time before the show. Dr. Gondhalekar is a B.Tech and PhD from IIT Bombay, the postgraduate in Industrial Engineering from NIT-IE, trained in Japan in quality and productivity, currently director and principal consultant in global consulting company called Kaizen Institute. He's worked for 10 years in the Asia Pacific, also a dean operations in Wellington Institute in Mumbai. He's the only known PhD in the subject of Kaizen, and recently co-authored a book on techniques of Kaizen. Without much ado, I would like to call Dr. Gondhalekar, Mr. Pranav before that, to give his presentation, and followed by Dr. Gondhalekar and his team. And what we did was instead of just having this talk, we said, let's do a sample study. We did a very small sample study with 2 printers in Bombay. It's not the end all of Kaizen, it was just the beginning, it's the first step of the process. And we said, let's do it, so we're going to show you what little steps we took in that process and hear from our printer friends what the experience was. So that's going to be the most interesting part as well. So, over to you, Pranav Parekh. Please give him a big hand.
Thanks. Quite frankly, after listening to Steve, one doesn't feel like going through this presentation because it was so inspiring, so powerful. And he's hit upon a key issue, which we often lose sight of. We read management books, we go to seminars and learn from various experts, so on. But I picked this up from Sensei Shoji Shiba, and now I have seen it practiced, and which is that the most important key success factor for a business is to have a noble vision. Not just a vision and a strategy for the business, but have a noble vision which involves contributing to the society, adding value to the people that you know or you don't know. And I think that his success, undoubtedly I don't want to take away from his skills and his expertise and the incredible qualities that we witnessed in him during his tenure in Technova, but also to this commitment of his to pursue a noble cause. And for that, where are you, Steve? Where have you gone?
Yeah.
There you. I salute you. Let's give him a very, very. I don't think there is even a single person that you've not inspired today. Okay? And I lead the team anyway. That brings us to Kaizen. Kaizen is all about continuous improvement, the way of life. So what improvements can we see that's necessary here and now? Can you give me one improvement that we instantly need to incorporate?
If you have started on time.
Yes?
The
Right now, in the present,
price can go a bit higher, so the bad guys can see.
it can go higher, but there is no screen. Is this in the way? Yeah. But can we, money free is very important.
I think.
I will keep this. Excellent, thank you. Actually, we don't even need this because it comes in the way, but it's too difficult to remove it. And there are 3 screens there. I'm sure there are a lot of things that we can continuously improve if we change our mindset. And it's all about changing the mindset. It's not about any tools and techniques. It's about how we look at our environment, ourselves, the things we do. The theme I picked for today, which fits in beautifully with what Steve kicked off. Why can't we be global leaders in print? How many of you really believe that we can be global leaders? Never mind when, say 10 years. Great. Those of you who believe that we cannot be global leaders, there were some who didn't raise their hands earlier. They don't want to expose themselves. Those who believe we can be global leaders, actually they can break for lunch. It's not necessary to be here. I think Steve has proved to us it's possible. Possible in a strange country, it's possible, doable, and we will do it in India, I'm quite sure. If we've done it in other industries, we should be doing it here. There is a time constraint, so I'm going to have to run through and maybe abort the presentation at some stage because you have a very important speaker who is going to be, who's the main speaker. But I will try and at least, how much time shall I take, Fred? Half an hour? Okay. Thank you. Thanks. All right. We'll take a quick look at the economic environment. Do a diagnosis of the printing industry as we see it now. Spell out some management themes that can help us to become a global leader. And probably won't be any time, but Fred wanted me to share Technova's learnings from its journey on Kaizen path and certain other things that we are doing. But here is an open invitation. Each one of you is most welcome to visit us. We are not very far. In Taloja, we'll arrange to transport you and bring you back. We can present our Kaizen journey. It's best to see it. They say in Kaizen, go to Gemba. Go to the shop floor. So that's where we can share it much better than doing it here if there is no time. How many of you have seen the BRICS report? Goldman Sachs published a report. How many of you are familiar with it? Okay, then let me share it because most of you are not. What this slide is saying is that if you take today's leading economies, which are the G6 countries, UK, Germany, Japan, Italy, France, and who else? That's 6. If you take, there is a repetition here, there is one more. United States, of course, yeah. if you take these countries, these were the leaders of yesterday. They are no longer the leaders of tomorrow. If you take BRICS countries, which is Brazil, Russia, India and China, you take these 4 countries, what the slide shows is that India will overtake the GDP of Italy by 2015 in US dollar terms. We are not talking about purchasing power parity. France, soon thereafter, Germany, and even Japan by say 2035 or earlier. The only countries we will not overtake are US and of course China. China will overtake US by 2040. And this has been backed up by what's been happening since then. They have made certain forecasts. We are very much on track to getting there. Now you can imagine, visualize that India is the 3rd largest economy in dollar terms. It means a lot. Look at the global economy. World is growing at around 4.3%, US at 3.2%, Asia at 6.4%. You have Indian economy growing at 7%. You have Indian economy growing at 7%, and I was talking to Dr. Goldratt, the author of Goal, Viable Vision, just a couple of days back. He was here for a seminar, and he said that I'm 100% confident that India will get there, sooner perhaps not later. And this is the picture he depicted. He says China is 1 billion people, it's growing at anywhere around 9% and will continue to grow. India will definitely grow between 7 to 9% for the next 10 years. Now when you multiply that by 1 billion people's purchasing power, because he said the salaries will increase by 20-25%, get ready for it. This will put a lot of purchasing power in the hands of 1 billion Chinese and 1 billion Indians. This will treble the global consumption in 10 years' time. And he backed it up with a whole lot of data. And he says then you can imagine the explosion in demand that's there, domestic and global, for a country like India. Now let's look at the US printing industry. What's happening in the US? Size of the industry is around $161 billion. And this is from NPES. I must thank Viren you for this data. Printing plants were 43,000. They were reduced by 1,500 printing plants in the last 1 year. Employment decreased by 1,800 employees, so it's more or less stable. So what's happened? They've improved the productivity. Print advertising has gone down by 10%. Online advertising has increased by 13%. PIA estimates that 10,000 printing establishments disappeared in 10 years. Scary numbers, right? It's happening in the US now. What does it mean for us? Sorry? More opportunity. Why have they reduced? Because offshoring zooms up. They're outsourcing it at a phenomenal rate. It's not that the print consumption has gone down. Print consumption is still pretty high. So they're going out, instead of just coffee tables, they're going even for packaging material, which one would say is not suitable for outsourcing. Super Jumbo Airbus could make it easy to print in China or India for next day delivery to the US. It's possible. So huge opportunity for Indian printing industry for print process outsourcing. Not just print, but the entire process can be outsourced. And a lot of us are already into it. I think you're doing something in that area, so maybe you will want to share. This is a real opportunity. And one would love to see print as the next frontier for BPOs. And it's very easily possible. Why? Because we have 130,000 printing presses. Over 1.8 billion of capital investment. 1.3 million workforce, 18 printing engineering colleges, several diploma schools, and many printing training institutions, and over 1,000 printing graduates every year. It's another matter what the quality of this is, but the infrastructure is there and it can be built up. It can be strengthened. So we have what it takes. If you look at the opportunity in India itself, as Steve mentioned, there is the consumption rate, which we'll come to in a minute, which is around $10 to $12 of printed material. And when you compare it with other countries, and we'll compare it in a minute, potential for growth is phenomenal. If we become the third largest economy, we can say that at least 20 times, to 25 times, to 30 times, printing industry can grow, even based on domestic demand. Okay? Add on top of it the number of illiterates that are there. It's going down, but at a slow pace. Illiterates, as they become literate, will consume more print in any case. So there is a genetic demand which will be growing. Paper consumption, India average is 6 kg, South Asia is 11 kg, global is 53 kg. So here itself you've got a multiple, just in terms of paper used for printing. And then there is the printed consumption that we talked about. Imports of machinery is easier to import, low tariffs, it's going up in different segments. However, the level of investment and the growth rates today are only around twice the GDP rate. So if the GDP is growing at around 6-7%, printing industry is growing at around 12 to 15% for the last several years. I think this can be ramped up further. Currently the exports, very, very poor, extremely poor. So if you look at the growth rates, it's there, but it's not worth writing home about. Excellence, we are getting passionate about becoming more excellent in printing, and as you already know, we have the second best printer in the world and all kinds of awards, and it's spreading. More number of printers are coming to world class or world beating levels than ever before. And more printers now feel it's possible for them to get there. That's the important thing. DNA of printing process in India is changing. Some years back, it was production science that mattered embedded in the machine itself. Okay, so machine delivered 25% of the job was done by machine, 75% depended on the skills of the operator. Right? That was the case. Now, process science takes 75%, and human skills are 25%, and that also is confined mainly to customer relations more than anything else. So the entire focus has gone on to process, not human skills. Of course, you need human skills to master the process. And that's the key issue. Where is the skill development needed to become scientific in one's approach to print and view print as a manufacturing process, not as a service process. Okay? Now one could argue that in America it's a service process. Yes, because there is print on demand, which is personalized. So that's a different issue. We have yet to get to that stage. We first have to see print as a manufacturing process, process-oriented industry, and that's what Kaizen is all about. Why? Because machine plays only 25% of the role, as before, as against 75% craftsmanship. Now it's 25% methods, 25% materials, and 25% men. So the whole thing has been split up in a very different way, and if all of this come together, then you have a profitable business with high level of customer satisfaction. So what are the favorable factors? What are the obstacles? And what is the right route? Here is a diagnostic diagram called push-pull model, which we picked up from Professor Shoji Shiba, the author of Breakthrough Management. Let's identify together favorable factors which are pulling us towards becoming a global leader in trade. Pull factor is something that's very attractive, right? Like a very attractive lady, magnet, you pull towards that. Push factor are things like a cantankerous wife, right? You push towards this attractive lady. External factors is anybody looking. And internal, of course, is your value system. So one has to look at factors and divide them in this fashion. So what is the pull factor? Let's just do a few minutes of exercise. What factors do you think are pulling us towards becoming a global preferred destination for print process outsourcing? Anyone? Price. Price is a pull factor. Now, how would it be a pull factor? You mean low price or high price? Low price in India. Okay. Is that a push or a pull? It's a push. Like a cantankerous wife. Bothering you. It's a push factor. Pull factor, any other?
Demographic changes.
Demographic changes. Can you explain?
I mean, paying power or buying power.
Buying power in those countries. Very, very good. That's
Literacy rate. Actually.
Absolutely. That's the opportunity.
Yeah, that's
opening up. Very good. Okay, let's identify some of the push factors. Before we go there, huge domestic market, the growth here, and emergence of India as a preferred BPO destination in other industries. For the reasons that you mentioned, because there is explosion in demand and the costs are high there. So those I have identified as a pull factor. We will find out what's missing here later on. Let's look at the push factors. One is intense domestic competition and therefore low prices. So we have to look for opportunities outside. Any others?
Youth manpower.
Huge manpower. Quite right.
Young.
Young manpower. Very good. If basically one is trying to confine to the key issues, right? So there is the entrepreneurial spirit. The youth is there. They want to do something. So entrepreneurial spirit is something that's driving us forward. It's pervading India, and now we have confidence that we can do it. That makes a big difference. Domestic competition, as Fred you mentioned, and digital technology. Technology is a huge enabler of getting there, right? It's no longer operator dependence. We can buy the same technology they can. And therefore, we can achieve the same standard of quality, provided we know the process right. Otherwise, it's a great equalizer. Also, digital technology is an enabler because distance is no longer there. You distribute it print, very easily possible. We talked about it in seminars, it's happening now. It's been experienced. Digital technology also because you can control your process better. So digital technology, you can use it in various different ways. Let's look at now the external factors. World-class local inputs are available here. You would say maybe except plates, but let's say they are available. All right. World-class local machinery is there. You may say, oh, but not high speed. Okay, we can argue about it, but it's getting there. Global tariff parity, so you can get whatever you want from the world, and there is no cost disadvantage. Low-cost talented engineers and managers, which you were talking about, is an external factor which is helping us. Infrastructure development. Yes, it's slow, but it's focused. It's happening now. Broadband is there. Logistics are improving. Shipping is getting the attention it deserves. Roads, everything. Power. Technical education institutions exist. They need to be improved. So these are all favorable external factors. How many favorable internal factors are there? Can you identify within your establishment? Not one. There has to be something. Where you are world class.
Management.
Exist?
Yes.
All right. Sorry? Competitive costing. Okay, let's question what do you mean by higher management skills. I would support what you said. Drawing from literacy, where well, 1/3 of us are illiterate. Yeah, the education levels up to school levels is better. Dr. Balraj said that he goes around the world giving lectures. Very well exposed. He says the best management talent is in India. Okay, and I would add, but however, they don't know how to manage. That's the problem. The talent is there. Okay, the spirit is there. But what is management is missing. Cost, we don't have low cost. The cost is a function of productivity, waste, lead times. Exactly, but right now we are not lower cost than them. Our labor cost is low, but the productivity is so low that the cost per unit is higher than actually some American printers also. So yes, it can be there. Potential is there for the reasons that are there. So I would agree with you there. So passion to learn I have put as number one. We are a learning community. This country, where you go anywhere, I go, people want to grab knowledge. Everywhere. It's amazing. Amazing. Printers, they go to shows, they go to seminars, they turn up in large numbers. They may not be on time, that's not important. But they get there. And next generation is taking charge. We old guys are out, new guys are taking over, and what I found, the interaction is completely different. Totally different. The approach is totally different. Very much more scientific. But there are many favorable factors missing. Therefore, let's quickly go to the obstacles. Where are the obstacles? One is my guess. I could be wrong, and it doesn't apply to the group sitting here. But those who are not here, I think vision and strategy to get there needs to be evolved, needs to be crystallized. Very few of us have a long-term spelled out document saying where we are, where we want to be, what are the milestones and how we're going to get there. Yeah. I won't embarrass you by asking you how many of you have a 5-year business plan. Okay? But that's a problem. And the vision is coming. It was great to see a lot of you put your hands up that we can be world's best. So maybe vision, I should cancel out long-term strategy and a plan is probably what needs to focus on. What is the obstacle as far as the push factor is concerned, which may prevent us? Walk-in printing, print on demand, variable, that whole growth market may be difficult to cross borders. Walk-in shops, but it's a small segment, very small segment. Geographic distance from key markets, but with shipping can be overcome. The real obstacles are where? Internal. Government, someone said? Yeah? Here it's very interesting. I keep quoting from what Dr. Goldar said because it gives us an external view. He says he was here 10 years ago and 99% of the business investment said government is like this, government is like that. This trip, and he's been all over, he says not one businessman has blamed the government. People now say government is what it is, they are leaving us alone. Okay? Now the communists may create a problem, but they are moving on. So despite the government, we are moving on. Government is no longer a factor. But you were right, it was the case for all this time. So that baggage is still there. But as we move on, probably it will become less and less of a factor. Would you agree?
You not add the skills, both the skill set, the younger, the printing is not the preferred employee destination.
Absolutely right.
You won't have the smart IIM guys or the smart Harvard Business School guys joining. The only reason you join the printing industry is because his father is a printer.
And you talk about yourself. Image of the printing industry, I totally agree with you, has been a chakhan.
You know,
But is changing.
we have this BPO thing, and there I'm able to attract a little
There
more
you are.
talent. But if I say I have a printing press, I won't get that kind of talent.
But if you say you're a printing press with Kaizen mindset, you see the attraction. Okay? Once they see a printing press not dirty, not cluttered, not with loose wires and paper all over the place, but like an ICU of a hospital, right? With an owner who's constantly looking for improvements, they get inspired and fired. And if you're in exports, they'll get there. You say, I'm not BPO, but I'm PPO, they'll come to you. So, I think it can change. And if you look at presses like yourselves and many of the leading ones, they don't have a problem getting the right people. But internal factors, inconsistent quality, long lead times, high wastages, low productivity, low level of automation, poor safety, health and environmental standards, poor housekeeping, slow adoption of digital technology, unscientific approach. These are the ones I've identified as areas where improvement is needed. If we were to therefore make a root cause analysis of what is preventing us from becoming global print leaders and use one of the Kaizen or QC techniques called fishbone diagram or Ishikawa diagram and divide it into methods, materials, men, machine, you would come up with something like this. And again, I've identified based on my limited knowledge the key areas. And I will run now. Methods, lack of quality strategy. Okay? And this is all at a macro level. You can drill down deeper under each heading. Absence of benchmarking and good manufacturing practices. Inefficient process controls, or probably lack of process controls. It's all judgment rather than measurement. Under methods. Under men, high operator dependence still in many printing establishments. Absence of scientific mindset. Poor training and empowerment, a question mark. Okay, I don't know whether they are empowered fully and involved fully or not. As far as machine is concerned, lack of automation and mistake proofing built into the press. There are second-hand machines, a lot of manual effort is required, and then one puts digital technology to work with a second-hand single-color machine. Then we need to select the segment accordingly. I'm a firm believer that a fully automated 4 to 6 color machine is far more economic than an old 2 color or 4 color machine, second hand. And this may be controversial, but I think it can be proven if the right process controls, the right method, skills are there, it's much cheaper to work with it. And I'm sure a lot of you have it. Would you agree with that theory? Yeah? Okay. And yet people are importing second-hand machines which are not fully automated. If CTP is used, and I'm not selling CTP, I'm just making a point. If CTP is used, an automated press is there, offset printing can compete with digital printing any day up to 100 copies and more. And this has been proven with many more advantages. HP guy is not here, is he? I'm a believer in Indigo, you know that. We brought it to India first. Materials, lack of standard specifications for materials. You don't tell us what you want, right? We tell you what you're getting, but you don't tell us what you want and demand it in quantified sense. Absence of cost in use concept. People look at the price, they don't look at the cost in use, cost per copy. I think that's a missing component. If you buy the best and the most expensive, it can end up with the lowest cost in use. And we have proved that time and time again. Whether it's a blanket or ink or paper or plates, everywhere the lowest cost is for the best material, which is probably the highest price. Happens because it ends up with zero defect, zero waste, highest productivity. And it can be converted into a formula. and high inventories of work in process, unnecessarily sitting there. How can we overcome the root causes? There are three management themes, again which we have learned from Professor Shoji Shiba. An owner or a CEO, Fred has disappeared, so I can take more time, I guess. Oh, you're there? Few more minutes, I'll try. One eye on, let's start with control, okay? Process controls. One eye on continuous improvements, and one eye on innovations. That's the balance that is required to overcome these problems. Control means you set the upper limit of quality, lower limit of tolerance, and you maintain your process within the control parameters and measure it and maintain it. Continuous improvement means that over time you keep improving your performance levels step by step by step, continuously, and we have an expert, so I won't take your time on that. As the competition becomes more fierce, the importance of continuous improvement becomes indispensable. Otherwise, your competitor takes over. And breakthrough is transforming the business. There comes a time when life cycle of the business starts declining. If you're stagnant, you need a breakthrough to transform the business to A type of business to another type of business, B type of business. If you don't do that, what happens is you go through the famous S-curve where you start with an innovation or a breakthrough, then you grow. During the growth period, you continuously improve your processes, and then comes maturity or stagnation, and after that comes decline. Now when you are mature and stable processes, you control your quality, reduce waste, etc. That's where the focus is, control, control, control. But what happens if you continue? Business will go down, it will die. No question about it. You need a breakthrough at that point in time to start another business cycle. And I think the breakthrough for printing industry is going in for BPOs, globalization. Otherwise this industry is stagnating. And ever since I joined the printing industry, and I was one of those people who was saying it, how are you, how is business? Terrible. That guy is cutting prices, and that's affecting me. And next question you ask, he says, yes, but I'm investing in a 4-color machine. Why? Because, my competitor is invested. End of conversation. So, I think this paradigm has to change. So you have breakthrough when you start up and when you want to start a new cycle, continuous improvement at growth stage, and right now we are growing. Therefore, Kaizen is the right technology, I believe, and then of course Kaizen also teaches control. I'll skip this, it shows what are the differences. Control and improvement are about quality management, breakthrough is about quality of management. Here you have ISO systems and quality assurance systems and control, and it's assumed that everyone will do that anyway, but that's more certification oriented. Kaizen and Six Sigma are the improvement technologies, and Toyota production system is breakthrough technology. Why Toyota? I'll skip there, but Toyota's annual profits is 8 billion. It's larger than the combined profits of all the big three. That will tell you a lot. Toyota production system works for them. So first step, this industry seminar, perhaps you want some in-house presentation, you want to make or not make a commitment to the journey in Kaizen, then you have in-plant workshops as some of the champions have done, and then the end result is Kaizen culture. Please don't go by how much you have made at the result of the workshop, which you will, but what is the mindset at the end of it? Has the culture become world class? Now I'll skip Technova's Kaizen journey, Fred. Little bit? Alright. Whenever we start a new activity, we use this model. We set the goals, we create an organization to promote it, there is a team leader and dedicated members who are fully on that project, train and educate them and others, promote it within the organization, so everyone supports it, sell the idea throughout, create success stories and spread them so people feel good about it and get sold on it, give incentives for success, and continuously monitor and diagnose the process based on the results that we get, and that's how the new activity gets promoted. So that's how we started on the Kaizen journey. Our goal has been to be rated on par with the big three, that's Agfa, Kodak, Fuji, in the plate and chemical business of product quality, and to be rated superior to the big three in service and value for money equation. Now, I'm not going to take a risk by asking you whether we are getting there or not. I'll ask you privately when you come to Technova. But one thing we do is everyone who comes to Technova, we give them post-it slips and say, at least 3 improvements we want you to give us for every area you visit in the factory. Don't hesitate to criticize us. And gradually, we are getting better. We carry out surveys continuously to find out. And I must thank some of you who have responded. We hope to get there someday. I don't know how far we are from it. That's for you to decide. But we felt that to do that, we need to commit ourselves to management technologies. So we looked at Six Sigma, Markham Baldrige, War on Waste, Professor Tripathi, Theory of Constraints, Dr. Goldratt, who's the author of The Goal, Breakthrough Management, Sensei Shoji Shiba, Kaizen, Sensei Masaki Imai, and Dr. G, Toyota Production System. These were the ones we evaluated. Pain for the operator, that was eliminated by a simple solution. Waste means even a strain or an extra movement is waste. It's not just material waste. That's how we have been doing. There is a lot more to be done, and we are immensely grateful for our gurus. Thank you, Dr. G, for beginning to transform Technova. And I sincerely hope that our customers will find the transformation worthwhile, because that's the real payoff for you. So thank you very much. If there are any questions while we are changing this, it might be worthwhile.